Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to walk through the boss fight with the Monstrous Toddler in Wuchang Fallen Feathers. After trying out and playing around with a couple different builds, I finally got one that made this fight pretty straightforward to get through. So if you are struggling to get through this fight, hopefully this will help you out. Starting off, I'll go through all of my equipment and skills and items and whatnot, and then we'll take a look at the actual fight. Alright, so starting off with what's kind of the star of the show for this one, and you just saw it get demonstrated a little bit in that intro clip, is this Echo of the Bow Sorcerer spell. So this does cost 5 Skyborn Might to use, and it's a frost-based spell, but it ended up being really effective against this boss, and what I'm going to kind of be leaning on to do a lot of my damage, which I'll show as we walk through the fight. But as the name implies, you do need to defeat the Bow Sorcerer to get this, which is in the Avian Dwelling area. So again, that's going to be kind of the main focus of this strategy. But looking at my other equipment and whatnot, starting with my armor, I've got a couple pieces from the Snowfall set, and then the Pirate Bracers and these Imperial Riding Boots. This might not be technically optimal for this boss. I'm not sure if what his main attack type is, whether it's slash, blunt, or stab or whatever, but I think if you kind of mitigate across those 3 physical attacks, you should be pretty good in terms of reducing damage. So, but for me, this set seemed to get the job done. And then for my pendants, I am using the Dracolich pendant again, as he does have a roar-based attack, which will stun you a little bit, so having this equipped is going to negate that attack of his. And then, assuming this is a large enemy, I have the Fiend Felling Pendant as well, and then the Dragonfish for some extra stamina. So that is my equipment, and then I'm sticking with the Lashing Whip Longsword, so I've got that up to +8, so I'll be using that as my primary weapon. And then finishing things up, if you just want to take a look at my stats here, I was level 65 when I did this fight. And then finally wrapping things up with the various shrine menus. So starting with my skill allocation, taking a look at that, going down the left side of the tree. I got my mana base upgrades, obviously, but a couple of callouts here. So for my needle, I am using Frostbite to kind of go along with the frost aspect of the Bow Sorcerer spell. With that spell, you can get it to basically one cast will fill up the entire Frostbite gauge of the enemy and get that Frostbite build-up damage. However, if it is just a little bit short, this is kind of a backup where I could just hit him a couple times just to knock it over the edge and get that full Frostbite buildup. Otherwise, if you want to use a different needle, you could, and then use something like Dark Frost Flames to hit him over the edge if you need a little bit more Frostbite buildup. But that's going to cost you 2 more Skyborn Might. But anyways, that's what I'm going with. I've got Frost on my weapon, and then also using Frozen Veil to increase the Frostbite buildup from spells. So those are kind of the 2 important things. Obviously got Temper Charges and Acupoint slots unlocked. A couple more Mana Base upgrades. There's another Acupoint slot, but then I've got some more points up here for these +5 magic stats and getting a little bit more magic for spell output. And then for the rest of it, I'm using Longsword as mentioned, but I do get these +5 stats early on in some of these other weapon categories. But mainly for the Longsword, building up Skyborn Might on Sword Saint using the second attack of the light attack combo, and then going down, and Swordmaster will also get you 2 more stacks of Skyborn Might on the 5th attack of the light attack combo. So that in combination with some perfect dodges, trying to build up enough Skyborn Might to always be able to cast that Bow Sorcerer spell. But as you can see, the rest of the tree is kind of built out, getting all these +5s down here as well. So kind of trying to grab all the +5 stats around the loop here. So those are my skills, and then temper, as you can see here, and as mentioned, I've got the Frostbite Needle, Agility Needle, Strength Needle, and then the Plume Stone Needle to increase the effect of that temper. And then wrapping things up with Benediction. You could kind of mix and match this. I think really in terms of synergies with this build, the main one here is just that bottom one with Inflicting Frostbite increases the damage of Frostbite. So I've got that, but you can see the other 2 I have equipped as well. So that's kind of the build. So now we'll get into the fight and I'll show you how this all worked out. Okay, so heading into the arena, I temper my sword first with Frostbite before going in, and then right off the bat, he usually does this jump attack, which if you can dodge behind him and then hit him twice with the longsword, that should get you 2 stacks of Skyborn Might right off the bat. As mentioned, that spell does cost 5 Skyborn Might to use, so really we just kind of want to be defensive and patient, focusing on getting perfect dodges, and if there's opportunity, get another 2 hits of that light attack combo, but just kind of building up to that 5 stacks of Skyborn Might. It doesn't seem like the spell can get interrupted either, which is nice, so I just kind of eat some damage to get my first cast of that off, which, as you can see, fully builds up that Frostbite meter and deals that big Frostbite hit on him. After that, I unfortunately missed his grab attack, which is pretty telegraphed once you know what to look for. It also gives you this kind of alert sound effect before he does it too, so keep an eye out for that. Fortunately, I did survive. I had enough health to get through all that damage he does there, so be sure to try and keep your health up just in case you miss it like I did. You should have quite a few mana base uses by this point in the game, so don't be afraid to use them, as you should have plenty to just to kind of chug through them all through the rest of this fight if needed. But at this point, I'm basically just waiting for more opportunities to build up Skyborn Might so I can do another cast of Bow Sorcerer. This water attack is a really good one, as you can just dodge through the water streams for 1 or 2 more stacks. And then here you see I get another cast off for another big chunk of damage with that Frostbite buildup. As mentioned, I've got plenty of mana base uses, so I do get a little aggressive after that, trying to get in some more combos with my sword, but ultimately, the main thing that I want to do is just wait for that Frostbite cooldown to reset so I can do another big damage hit with the Bow Sorcerer spell. And then this time I do dodge his grab attack, which he follows with that roar attack, which is negated by the Dracolich pendant. So that was a good opportunity for some light attack hits. And then you can see he does try another roar attack, which is again nullified by that Dracolich pendant. So a really useful item to have that equipped. So this is one of those cases where the spell doesn't quite fill up his Frostbite meter. Originally, I was just going to go in with my sword and hit him a few times as I retempered it with Frost. However, I was able to quickly get 2 stacks of Skyborn Might on his Water Jet attack, so instead I just used Dark Frost Flame to push it over the edge. So depending on the situation, you can have a couple options there to get that additional Frost. And then finally, I'm able to get a stagger on him for an Obliterate attack. However, for this boss, it does hardly any damage for some reason, so I'm not sure there's really any point in trying to strategize around Obliterate for this guy. Wrapping things up, you can see I get 1 final cast of Bow Sorcerer off, which is almost enough to complete the fight, so I just kind of go in with a few more hits of the sword to finish things up. So I'll leave you with that. Give this build a try if you're having some struggles getting through this boss. Hopefully it helps. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.